Well, this is the last weekend to catch the Patrick White exhibition at the National Library. There's lots of letters, lots of papers and lots of manuscripts. And they're also running some old television interviews with the man himself and others reminiscing about his life.
Mr. White, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel? That's the obvious question, but how does it feel?
Oh, rather bewildering. I've had my door battered on half the night by the press.
And by the television?
Well, I don't know who else, because I didn't go down. I'd taken a sleeping pill and gone to bed.
Could you say it was a crowning achievement of a career, or is that too much?
I hope my books are the crowning achievement of my career, not awards.
In the late 60s and 70s, White became a familiar figure in the political scene.
I realised we had reached the stage where a change had to be made, that we must cure ourselves of mentally constipated attitudes.
Do you ever think of retiring? Do you ever say, right, this is the last book, forget it and I'll put my feet up? Right.
I feel I've still got more to write, yes, but I'd like to feel, oh, well, I've finished and now I can read and listen to music, but that hasn't happened yet.
Actresses meant a great deal to Patrick, and I think that he more or less liked to fall in love with his actresses.
While we were rehearsing Big Toys, Patrick's play, Manoli showed Brian Thompson, the designer, a very, well, rather greedy letter that Patrick as a little boy had written Father Christmas.
And it had a list of things which he wanted from Santa Claus. It was a butterfly net, a history of Australia, a bag of marbles, a mouth organ, a violin, and a little mouse what ran across the room.
So Brian gathered all these things together, and my mother embroidered Paddy's bag on a bag. And we, on the opening night, put tinsel round his neck, and he was looking very bemused, and handed him this bag, and one by one he took the things out, and it meant nothing to him until he suddenly had a mouse in his hand.
And he laughed with delight as he saw this toy mouse.
And his face became that of a little boy and this child. It was the most wonderful moment.
He was always, to my mind, testing people out to see how far their friendship would go, how far they would allow him to love them. Because if it proved a disaster, well, then it was going to be a terrible upset for him. So he was always on the stretch with people.
I've had to think about this myself a lot, because I myself, you see, missed Patrick's friendship in his later years through a fault which lay neither with him nor with me. It was just that we kind of disappointed each other in some kind of inevitable, almost biological sense.
Patrick White was born 100 years ago, and that exhibition finishes on Sunday.